Hello and welcome to Coffee with Carey. Today is going to be some dating advice, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that elusive chemistry and what I recommend to my clients as far as how to know if they have chemistry. And if you're new here, I want to welcome you. This is a channel that I've created for women who are traveling through their 50s for the first time. Somebody asked me what that meant, and I meant we haven't experienced this before, so wouldn't it be great if we experienced it together? And then the second meaning of that would be traveling through our 50s for the first time, meaning if we decide to loop back around and do it again after 59, that might happen, and we'll be here for each other through that too. But I create videos here that are about things that are interesting to me, things like fashion, beauty, makeup, food, and because I am a matchmaker and a dating coach here in the Chicago area, I very often share the advice that I give to clients and the people I match them with here with you. Dating in your 50s and chemistry is very different because the first time around you were likely very young. When you are very young, those first relationships tend to be about starting with the physical attraction, with the chemistry, with finding somebody attractive, and from that point, things expand out and we would learn more about them and whether our values aligned, whether we shared some interest, whether our personalities clicked, and whether we had the same goals for where we wanted our lives to go from a young age. Now, being out there in your 50s is different, and a lot of people feel that they still want to lead with the looks. But starting this process over again in your 50s is different, and not because we're not as attractive as we were in our 20s. We're a different kind of attractive, but we're at a place where other things might be of more importance. We're not looking for a partner to have children with. We're not looking for somebody that we have to be with for 70 years. And it's a little bit different. And I know, of course, people want to have an attraction and have that chemistry, but I truly feel that if people are really stuck on that being the first thing and the primary thing and the most important thing, I find that a lot of people I run into who are doing that are sabotaging themselves because they haven't let who they are now and the ways that they've changed catch up with how they dated the first time around. So one of the things that I ask every single person that I talk to and screen before matching them with one another is, when do you think you know if you have chemistry with someone? And if somebody tells me, oh, I know immediately, I ask them to clarify because immediately can mean different things to different people. And if they say, oh, I know within the first 30 seconds, I feel the need to interject and tell them that's not chemistry, that's a first impression. And they will usually go, oh, right. So I usually know if there's going to be chemistry based on a first impression. What I'm really looking to hear is that they're going to allow that conversation to play a part in determining whether or not they have chemistry. So more often than not, I'm excited when I hear somebody say, I usually know after an hour or two, or sometimes people will tell me they usually know after a first date. Often people tell me they know after a couple dates. And I think that's a really enlightened attitude for somebody dating in their 50s, because there are things you have to take into consideration on a first date. One being that not everybody is great at doing first dates, and nerves could play a part in that, and or expectations can play a part in that. So I think being a little bit more broad-minded to allow for the growth of chemistry will go a long way in making somebody successful in finding somebody they connect with. I think one of the major differences that maybe people should allow for dating in their 50s the second time around or third is that chemistry can be instantaneous. You can know that there is that physical connection and start from that point, but that's not the only way that physical chemistry and emotional chemistry and conversational chemistry can develop. And if people are waiting just for that person who's going to walk in the door and their hair is going to be blowing in the breeze and angels singing and harps playing, and for that to hit them smack in the face like, holy crap, look at this amazing person I'm so attracted to, they're going to miss out on a lot of great people who they could have chemistry with if they gave it a little bit more time to develop. And the example I use very often is, if chemistry were only the kind that is instantaneous, how do you account for work relationships? People who met through a job and developed some rapport. It wasn't that somebody got hired and they saw each other, or one saw the other and said, oh man, that is one hot coworker. It could be, but very often it's not. The stories that I tend to hear are ones where people work on a project together and they get to know each other, and all of a sudden they find they're putting a little, aftershave on before they go to work suddenly, because they know they're going to see this woman, or she's lingering a little bit longer in the lunchroom area or by the water cooler because she wants to have a little conversation, or they work on a project together and somebody really gets to enjoy somebody else's sense of humor. Now they're looking forward to going to work, and you have a romance blooming there. And it did not start with angels singing and harps playing. It started out with two people getting to know each other, enjoying each other's company and sense of humor, and feeling some type of a connection growing. So when you take that kind of a relationship into account, you have to know that it can happen in different ways. And I also like to point out that there are some people I know. There's a story of a woman who had a really great first date. All right, it was me. And I wasn't immediately attracted. I thought he was really nice, really smart, but my first impression, and it was from a dating app, was, he's not quite as handsome as his pictures. So there was that slight disappointment that those apps bring along, because nobody looks like a two-dimensional photo. And we have to wrap our heads around that in the first couple of minutes. The dates that I set up are actually blind dates, which adds a whole nother element of surprise and needing to be open and be adventurous for that. There's a funny story actually I just thought of, speaking of people not looking like their pictures. I had a gal go out on a date, and she was meeting somebody from a dating app, and his name was Steve. And all of a sudden he says, "Oh, are you Marie?" She says, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, I'm Steve." She said, "No, you're not Steve." He goes, "Yeah, I'm Steve." No, she said, I saw pictures, you're not Steve. He said, "Oh, the pictures, yeah, those aren't me, those are my nephew." So we're contending with things like that with using the dating app. So good luck to us, right? All right, so where was I here? Chemistry is not always evident on a first date. There are people who I know who it took weeks before they saw the person in a light where they felt that click of physical chemistry, and ended up having a great physical connection and physical chemistry with that person for many years, and it was not evident on a first date. Don't put so much pressure on feeling that connection right away in the first 30 seconds, in the first 10 minutes. Give it time to breathe and give that person a chance to grow on you. You must have met somebody at some point in your life and realized after getting to know them a little bit better that, wow, did they just get better looking, or whatever, is it me? If we click with somebody and we're on that same plane and we're making some type of an emotional connection with them, they become much more attractive to us. And I think that chemistry can be like that as well. I know men will argue with me. They do every day, that they know themselves, they know what they're attracted to, and it's got to be that or it's never going to work. But I say to them, you know what? You're 57 years old, you've been dating for 12 years, and you're still single. Maybe you want to try something a little bit different to see how that works for you. You know the saying, keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That's the definition of insanity. And there have been some of these men who are probably quite insane, but some of them were nice guys who just weren't doing themselves any favors. And it is more often men than women who expect that symphony of angels on a first date. Women seem to be a little bit more open to taking things a little bit more slowly. And I'll remind you again that if you feel that person is on a first date, you're not going to come back from that. That is in my video about whether or not you should go on a second date, and I will put a link up here. That is a reason not to go on a second date. I don't think you can recover from that feeling or ever truly find yourself attracted to somebody you find yucky initially. But if you don't have that, you just don't have any sunlight streaming through the heavens upon their face. I think you might be smart, well advised to give them a second date and see in which direction that chemistry thing is heading. Was that interesting? Do you think it was helpful? If it was, can you give this video a thumbs up? I'd appreciate that. And as long as you're poking around on my channel, if you would subscribe and hit that ring bell so you're notified when I upload new videos, that would be good too. I really appreciate you taking the time to stop by today and see what I wanted to talk about, and I hope you will do it again. So until next time, thank you and have a good one.